River2Sea Whopper Plopper. This is a newer silent version is what they say, as compared to, if my memory serves me correctly, the original 130 size. But this size is a 90 size, which was very appealing to me because you don't have to have specialty gear like a swim bait rod to throw something like this, because this is a very usable weight at 3/8 of an ounce. Let me check on here. It says that the 90 is 3.5 inches and has a weight of 3/8 of an ounce, and obviously it's a topwater floating style lure. The interesting thing about this lure is it's kind of like a, it is a prop bait, but it's kind of like a buzz bait too. It doesn't have these traditional looking props on it like a standard prop bait would have on it, the steel props that you would normally find. This thing actually looks like a fin more than it looks like a propeller. You can kind of see that it's twisted a little bit to accommodate the spinning action that is required of a prop bait. It is very effective at what it does. When I used it out on the water, it was surprising at its efficiency of how that prop actually spins. I thought because of the fact that it is bulky that it wouldn't spin very well, but it actually spins extraordinarily well for its size. It requires minimal effort to get that thing going. Now again, I said that this is a silent, this is the silent variety. They have a noisier version, I guess, but this one sounds like it has something in it, but I'm almost positive that that is the ballast weight that's in the belly of this bait here. You can see that the eyes on it are a three-dimensional holographic eye, but it's got that R styling cue that River2Sea uses in their eyes. Get a close-up of the belly of this lure here. You can see it says Whopper Plopper 90F River2Sea. It's got two black nickel plated hooks. When it sits on top of the water, it has an angle to it so that back hook is very exposed. I like the fact that I don't have to work the rod really hard to make this bait buzz to the water. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get the prop of this lure running and to get it splashing all over the place. It has a nice sputtering, buzzing action that when it runs across the top of the water. So it's definitely something that I'm going to be using here coming up in the near future. You can see that the lure is on the top of it is basically kind of the top portion of this lure is basically a kind of like a walking style bait, which in my experience out on the water was difficult at best to get it to walk. But on the back end of it, it has this spinning prop that runs out of the rod that goes out of this back section. Basically just how any other prop bait would work, and they stick this plastic piece on here that is supposed to be the tail or the prop, and it spins around this rod that is coming out of the back section of this bait here. It seems to spin on top of this steel ball bearing here. Hopefully you can kind of see it there. I don't know if my camera will focus that closely to it, but you can see that it has a kind of like a metal ball bearing attached to that rod there. They say it only weighs in at 3/8 of an ounce. I would say it weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of a 1/2 ounce to 5/8 of an ounce, and that's based off of its ability to cast really well. When you cast it out there, this prop doesn't flail in the wind or anything like that. It casts straight and like a bullet. As far as techniques are concerned, with this style of bait, I've said in the past that with prop baits, I use them as prop baits, which means that I use them as kind of like a popper, where I kind of twitch them, or pull them, stop. And then there are other people out there that might use a prop bait as a steady retrieve, where you kind of get this prop going, which is very similar to a buzz bait. But the cool thing about this is it has so much disturbance on top of the water with that larger prop. You could use this as a buzz bait, and you can stop it because it floats. Tackle Warehouse has these baits price pointed around $12.99 for the 90 size, and it looks like it goes all the way up to $16.99 for the 130 size. I have two colors here. This first color is called Bone. In this bone color, it has the tail as being red. It's kind of clear too, but the tail is red, and the overall color of the body is like an off-white, almost like to a yellow. And you can see it has the raised gill plates, etched scaling on it. So nice detail, nice components on the bait overall. Very satisfied with this lure. This is bone. This color here is called Abalone Shad. Now, Abalone Shad is pretty much a transparent bait. You can kind of see through it a little bit. It's a lot more natural looking. It has some glitter in the tail. You can still kind of see through the tail there, but there's some glitter in the tail. The fin of this is painted to look a little bit more natural than that bone colored one. And it's just overall kind of like a gray and blue looking. The scales that you can see that are painted on here, these aren't, you have the actual etch scaling that's in here, and then you have these painted on scales that are there. This is Abalone Shad. They're both really nice looking baits. I think that the bone is definitely probably a lot more popular because for topwater baits, bone is typically a go-to color. But both of these baits are something that should be very both of these baits are something that should be very successful for me. So I'm very happy to have them in my group of lures, and it's something that you guys should go and take a look at, especially for the fact that they have this smaller version now. I really like this version here. I just bought, actually today, I bought the 130 size. I'll show that in another video here coming up. But this one seems so much smaller than that 130. The 130 seems very imposing. This one seems very reasonable and should get bit a lot more often than that 130, where the 130 is probably going to elicit very big strikes from much larger bass. If you guys like the video, please hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. I'd be happy to get back to you on those. If you haven't already, follow me on Facebook and or Instagram. I'll leave the links in the description. Stay tuned for my next video. I have another lure review coming up in the next couple of days, and I also have another couple of vlog style videos coming up. So stay tuned, please. Thanks for sticking with me, guys.